In 5, 4, 3, 2.
Hello, YouTubers, Pokemon trainers. This is Deiter from iStarlyTV, and today we have another LC battle. So I decided to use my Bronzor. He is very bulky, and he looks pretty good against his team. I was gonna go for a Stealth Rocks, and he uses A-Pump, but he U-turns immediately, knowing he can't really do damage. So I see he switches into Tentacool, so I switch into a Tentacool because he will use a fire move as predicted, and I barely get damage done. He switches out, scared of my Tentacool, into his A-Pump once again, but I decide to Scald because it could possibly burn, which it does, leaving that great because A-Pump is a physical attacker. So now his A-Pump uses Fake Out, which flinches me. I lose a turn pretty much, but he takes damage from the burn, which is great. And now he uses Beat Up, which is very odd kind of to see, but it does a great amount of damage to me. He gets burnt still. I'm still in the game. I set up Toxic Spikes knowing he will faint next turn, which he does. So right now I have the advantage, and he switches into Scraggy, which takes a little damage from Stealth Rock, and he gets poisoned from my Toxic Spikes. So he uses Dragon Dance, which scares me because I just use Scald, which doesn't really dent his Scraggy. He is hurt by poison. He does not have Shed Skin, I'm not sure, but he uses Crunch, which knocks out my Tentacool. I'm a little bit panicky, but he has Moxie, so he will stay poisoned and it will continue to do damage to him. I choose in my Abra, knowing I can take a hit from his Crunch because I have Sash, Focus Sash, and I use Hidden Power Fighting, which wipes out his Scraggy. My Abra is barely hanging on, but that's fine. He uses Duskull, and I predict he has Shadow Sneak, so I will switch him out and go to my Murkrow, which it won't be very effective. He does use Shadow Sneak, and I did a good switch. He doesn't get poison from Toxic Spikes because he has Levitate. I try for Sucker Punch, but I fail. And he uses Will-O-Wisp, which is bad for my Murkrow. But I am okay with that because I have special moves. He uses Shadow Sneak once again, maybe predicting a switch. But I use Heat Wave, and luckily I got a critical hit, which knocks him out. I take some damage from Burn over time. He then, and as well as Life Orb, he switches into Cyndaquil and takes a great amount of damage from Stealth Rock, and he is poisoned. I go for a Sucker Punch, and it hits, does more damage than expected. He goes for a Flamethrower, which takes down my Murkrow. Next, I go for my Abra, who has little health, but I decide to go for Protect, knowing he will faint from poison damage. So I got lucky. No, not really. I was smart on that one. And there goes his Cyndaquil. So now I have 4 and he has 2. He goes in with his Abra, which gets poisoned from Toxic Spikes. But I return mine. I don't want to speed more, so I go into Bronzor, who can take an Abra's hits. He uses Shadow Ball, which does a decent amount. He uses Shadow Ball again. My special defense is lowered, and I go for an Earthquake, although it says Fissure. But he uses Shadow Ball once again, and I am gone. So now I decide to choose Ponyta, who is decently fast. And he uses Psychic, very strong, doesn't wipe me out, which I am happy. I use Flare Blitz, and he is gone. So now it's Ponyta versus Gastly. Gastly, I know he has Prankster. He gets poisoned and hit by Stone Edge. He goes for a substitute, and I go for a Flare Blitz, which breaks his substitute, but it still does damage to myself. So he recovers a little with leftovers and takes more damage from poison. He goes for another substitute, and I kind of predicted that, so I went for a Morning Sun this time to recover sun damage, the same with Ponyta. And he still recovers, but still gets damage from poison. And he uses an Encore, which I fully heal myself because I have to use Morning Sun. But I don't want to stay with using Morning Sun, so I will switch my Ponyta out. I switch into my Gastly. Now I got Sludge Bomb, Shadow Ball, but he uses Leech Seed, so I'm going to take damage from that, and it's going to heal him even more, which kind of cancels out poison because he has leftovers. He uses Stun Spore, and I'm paralyzed and seated. Unfortunately, I can't move this turn, so I don't want to keep my Gastly in because it's just healing his Gastly. So I will return him into my Abra. I don't mind Abra fainting because I have two others. So he uses Encore, not knowing I would have switched, and it fails. So now I decide to break his substitute with, he forfeits. So I won. iStarly prevails. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a comment. Please subscribe to our page and go follow our blog, Pokemon Palace. You know, Scarecrow just came in. He's Scarecrow.
Hey, what are you doing?
Just battling LC and dominating it. Well, I'm Deiter.
He forfeited.
I was battling fine. Well, this was another iStarly.
Oh, this is Scarecrow. I just got in.
Peace.
Bye.